Mentions of raiders coming from the sea are reported throughout the Mediterranean around the 13th century BCE. Many historians believe they were a major cause of the Bronze Age collapse in the region. Who they were remains a mystery, as does whether the attacks were a coordinated effort or not. Keep watching as we explore the theories behind where these mysterious people were from and detail some of the devastation they wrought on some of the most prominent civilizations of the time. The Bronze Age was a significant period in human development characterized by the widespread use of bronze, an alloy of copper and tin. It began around 3300 BCE in the Near East and around 3000 BCE in regions such as Greece. During the Bronze Age, several civilizations flourished in the Mediterranean, including the Minoans, the Mycenaeans, the Hittites, and the Egyptians. Between roughly 1250 and 1150 BCE, many of these major civilizations were obliterated. Their cities were demolished, trade systems collapsed, writing systems disappeared, and the regions regressed from large flourishing artistic cultures to smaller individual farming and pastoral communities. There is much debate about what caused this Bronze Age collapse, with many citing climate changes, natural disasters, or internal rebellions as primary causes. However, another significant theory is that a mysterious group known today as the Sea Peoples raided throughout the Mediterranean and contributed to the collapse of these mighty nations. Most of what we know about the Sea Peoples comes from Egyptian accounts, perhaps because they were one of the cultures that were not completely wiped out in the Bronze Age collapse. While Egypt did go through a period of economic decline, it was able to survive and repel the Sea Peoples during the reign of Merneptah in the 13th century BCE and the reign of Ramses III in the 12th century BCE. The first hints of trouble in the Mediterranean come from around 1230 BCE. Although we have no record that the disruption came from the Sea Peoples, many historians believe that waves of attacks in Mycenaean Greece, which caused the Mycenaeans to build greater fortifications, were the first wave of raids by the Sea Peoples. Around this time, the Greek city of Pylos began to post 800 extra watchmen in its coastal watchtowers. Mycenaean Greece suffered many raids, which some historians believe led to their eventual collapse. The first time the Sea Peoples attacked Egypt is generally thought to be during the reign of Pharaoh Merneptah, which lasted from 1213 to 1203 BCE. However, the first mention of the Sea Peoples came from the reign of Merneptah's father, Ramses II. Inscriptions commissioned by Ramses II link the Sea Peoples to Egypt's enemies, the Hittites, and describe ambushing the Sea Peoples at the mouth of the Nile. According to Egyptian sources from Merneptah's reign, they consisted of a coalition between 5 different cultures: the Akwesh, Teresh, Luka, Shirda, and Shekelesh people. This federation joined forces with a handful of Libyan tribes and attacked northern Egypt. In the 5th year of Merneptah's reign, they were defeated in a great battle, described in detail in the Great Karnak inscription. Merneptah describes the Sea Peoples as coming from the seas to the north, and it seems they were already known to be a formidable enemy, as Merneptah appears to have taken great pride in defeating them. Evidence suggests that the Sea Peoples had come intending to stay, as they brought household items and building tools with them. Although Merneptah thought he had vanquished the Sea Peoples for good, they returned, raiding throughout the Mediterranean. They invaded Egypt again during the reign of Ramses III, which was from around 1187 to 1157 BCE. Around 1187, the Sea Peoples invaded and destroyed the city of Kadesh in Syria, which was an important Egyptian trade center by this point. By the time they attacked Egypt, they had already destroyed many important empires, including the Hittites. They had also raided and razed Arzawa, Ugarit, Alatia, and Tarsus, and had devastated the Mycenaean kingdom. Ramses III faced the Sea Peoples in the 8th year of his reign, which is shown in inscriptions at Medinet Habu as a series of land and sea battles. Most scholars now agree that this was not just an armed invasion, but a massive influx of displaced people trying to find a new land to settle. According to Ramses III, in around 1177 BCE, the tribes of the Dinauna, Shakalesh, Ualshasha, Alasa, and Cheker surrounded Egypt by both land and sea. In response, Ramses III raised a large land army and prepared a naval fleet to meet them. Surprisingly, many of Ramses III's mercenaries were from the various groups of sea people. According to the Medinet Habu reliefs, there were 2 major battles in this attack, the first one on land and the second by sea. The land battle occurred when the pharaoh's forces ambushed the migrant caravan that was heading to Egypt. However, this caravan was only part of a larger movement of loosely organized groups, and soon ships began entering the Nile with the intention of landing. Based on Egyptian evidence, historians assume that these battles took place as far as possible from the Nile Valley, with the land battle occurring between the eastern border of the Nile Delta and the southern coast of the Palestinian Strip. The naval battle is thought to have taken place at the mouth of the Nile, with the Sea Peoples becoming trapped on the Nile by Ramses III's ships. However, there is yet to be any archaeological evidence to indicate the site of these battles. Although the Egyptians were victorious, the army was exhausted and the campaign had depleted the Egyptian treasury. So, we know the destruction that the Sea Peoples wrought, but what about the individual groups that made up this coalition? Well, due to their migratory invasions, it is hard to know where they originally came from, but let's take a closer look at some groups identified by the Egyptians. Some historians believe the Ekwesh, or Akawasha may have been from the Ahiyawa, an ancient kingdom that lay to the west of the Hittite Empire. The exact location of Ahiyawa has yet to be identified, but it could possibly have been in western Anatolia or an island in the Aegean Sea. Most scholars believe that the people of Ahiyawa were also the Achaeans, or the early Mycenaean Greeks. The theory that one of the factions of Sea Peoples was actually the Mycenaeans is seen to be supported by Homer, as Odysseus mentions Achaean attacks on the Nile Delta, and later stories of the Trojan War state that the Mycenaeans sailed to Egypt to recover Helen, who was there for most of the Trojan War. Doubt is cast over this theory, as Pharaoh Meneptah counted the number of dead Sea Peoples by ordering the penises of uncircumcised victims and the hands of circumcised dead to be severed. The fallen Ekwesh were counted by their severed hands, and as the ancient Greeks did not commonly practice circumcision, it seems unlikely that they were from that region. Another theory is that Ekwesh is similar to the Indo-European word for horse, with the related Latin word pronounced equa. As the Achaeans, Ahiyawans, and Mycenaeans were all reported to be chariot users, it is conceivable that the Ekwesh were an Indo-European group that was related to the Proto-Grecian Mycenaeans. It is speculated that the Teresh, or Tirsanoi, came from somewhere between Italy and Sardinia in the region of the Tyrrhenian Sea. Historians have hypothesized links between them and the Shardana of Sardinia, the Etruscans of Italy, and the Elymians of Sicily. The Luca may have been one of the groups from western Anatolia. Luca is also thought to be the name of the coastal region from which they came. They are referred to in Egyptian, Hittite, Luwian, and Akkadian texts and historical records. From the little records that remain, there is some evidence that they were involved in the political and military affairs of Hittite Anatolia. The Shurdan people were first mentioned in 1386 in letters between Egypt's pharaoh and his vassal states in Canaan and Amurru. In these texts, the Shurdan were referred to as a garrison installed by the pharaoh of Gubla, modern-day Byblos in Lebanon. In Egyptian reliefs and tablets, they are shown as a mercenary wing of the Egyptian army, and some served as a royal bodyguard corps at the Battle of Kadesh in 1274 BCE. Some speculate that the Shurdan came from Sardinia, which may have once been called the Island of Shurdan. The Shurdan's role as mercenaries for hire may have led to their coalition with the other Sea Peoples, as their familiarity with the Egyptians would have made them very attractive allies to those wishing to invade and settle the Nile Delta. The Shekelesh, or Shekala people were, according to the Hittites, a group of sea pirates who lived on ships. As with the Ekwesh, the hands of their dead were collected after they clashed with Egypt, which suggests they practiced circumcision. Some historians believe that they were from Sicily and related to a tribe called Siculi. It is not known how or why these tribes formed a federation of sorts, but it seems likely that the Sea Peoples took advantage of a period of drought in the Mediterranean. The various groups may have been forced into raiding due to suffering themselves. The drought would have affected the trade and political stability of the larger powers in the region, which would have been compounded by attacks from the marauding raiders. Most historians believe that they came from the western Mediterranean and were migrating east, probably escaping drought-hit regions or lands destroyed by natural disasters, and looking for another place to settle. The idea that they were seeking new lands to occupy is evidenced by the fact that entire families and all their belongings were often part of the raiding party, and they settled in whatever territories they were able to conquer. An influx of new people would explain the disappearance of written languages and the complete collapse of established trade routes. Some historians believe that the migrating Sea Peoples were used as a scapegoat for a series of catastrophic events that led to the Bronze Age collapse, and new archaeological theories framed the land and sea battles of Ramses III as ambushes on groups of wandering immigrants. However, these immigrants were clearly fiercely defended by their own fighting forces. Other scholars maintain that the Sea Peoples planned their attacks and that their intrusion sealed the fate of the established civilizations, erasing advanced cultures and replacing them with new pastoral communities. Do you have a theory on the Sea People? Let us know in the comments. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about the Sea People, check out our book, The Sea People, a captivating guide to the seafarers who invaded ancient Egypt, Eastern Anatolia, the Hittite Empire, Palestine, Syria, and Cyprus, along with the Bronze Age collapse. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.